بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما يا رب العالمين. So we're in the penultimate day of the year. We don't know where time's gone, honestly, where this year has gone and where our lives are going as well. Subhanallah, like life is just flying by. And we'll realize that when it comes, usually at the end of the year and the beginning of the next year, we always talk about making goals, goal making, and being productive for the next year. So for us, for you and I as Muslims, what does productivity mean for us? How can we be productive? So when we think of this term productivity, it means that to use the least amount of energy and the least amount of time to create the biggest results. You use the least amount of energy, the least amount of focus to create the biggest results. And if we think about productivity for a Muslim, it's slightly different than a normal person. That for us as Muslims, there's two aspects. Number one is that there needs to be personal productivity. There needs to be productivity in our day-to-day life. And they say there's three ways to make sure that we can complete this. They say that we need mind management, we need, number two, body management, and we need life management. So number one is that if we want to be the most productive human being on a day-to-day basis, we need to make sure that we manage our minds. Actually, I remember seeing a quote that our brains are there to create ideas, not to hold them. That if you want to make sure that you're mentally 100%, then you have to actually offload your mind. You have to make a habit of writing things down, actually. That when you think that you need to do something, next week I'm going to do this thing, or I have this idea, then actually, instead of holding the burden on your mind, actually write it down. This is mind management. Then body management is that actually you physically be in the best form that you can be. Because this impacts your behavior and your mental well-being. That if a person is healthy, he's eating healthy, and he's physically healthy, then he can be 100%. He can make sure that he does all the activities. He can make sure he does all his jobs, but say you're physically not well, then that means that you'll not be able to efficiently do all the tasks that you need to do. When you have children, and if you have back pains and leg pains and this and that, and you're not physically in the right condition, then mentally you will not be in the right condition. So that's number two. And number three is that life management. Actually, even us as Muslims, we need to set ourselves goals that what do I want to achieve? 5 years. What are my short-term goals, long-term goals? 5 years, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. What do I want to achieve? What am I working towards? So this is our personal productivity. But as Muslims, we know that we have a spiritual productivity that we need to work towards as well. That our energy and focus should be that how can I maximize my reward in the akhirah? That how in the world we said that in the least time, with the least energy, how I can reap the most rewards. So equally, in the akhirah, with the least time and with the least effort, how can I maximize the most reward in the akhirah as well? And for us as Muslims, it starts with number one, it starts with our intentions actually. The reason why I'm doing such and such thing, the reason why I'm coming to the masjid, the reason why I'm giving my children an upbringing. Our reward starts from our niyyat. And number two, the way we can be productive is by gaining Allah's barakah in our life, actually. Barakah, blessings. That when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He describes the Quran, He says, وَهَذَا ذِكْرٌ مُبَارَكٌ أَنزَلْنَا وَهَذَا كِتَابٌ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مُبَارَكٌ. That if we want to attract barakah and blessings in our life that we can achieve less with more, then we need to bring the Quran into our life. This is how we will achieve barakah, blessing, within our households, within our lives, within our time. Sometimes we realize that with our finances, money just goes like that. Or our time just goes like that. This is a sign that it's devoid of barakah, blessing, that we don't realize that actually Allah is taking away the barakah, or Allah is adding barakah into our wealth or our time. This is something that we need to do. And I just want to end on a dua that the Prophet ﷺ, he mentions to us, and it's something that is we can take lessons and heed from, and we should pay close attention to this dua. Prophet Allah ﷺ, he says, Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min al-ajzi wal-kasl, wa na'udhu bika min al-bukhli wal-jubn, ونعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال. That, O Allah, we seek refuge from ajzi wal kasl, that inability, ajz, literally inability to do something. So if we have this in our life, we need to find a way to actually give ourselves energy to do things. Min al ajzi, and then kasl, laziness. اللهم إني نعوذ بك من العجز والكسل ونعوذ بك من الجبن والبخل. O Allah, we seek refuge from cowardliness, that we basically put ourselves down, or we lower ourselves. من البخل and miserliness, that we don't exert ourselves with our wealth and with our energy, actually. That we're stingy with our wealth and with our energy. وَنَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ غَلَبَةِ الدَّيْنِ وَقَهْرِ الرِّجَالِ. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protection from action, from dain, from loans, and from debts. From debts, because this is a burden on a person. When you think about it, it's inhibiting for a person, that when they're always thinking about bills and loans and debts, and it basically just paralyzes a person. They're not able to live. وَقَهْرِ الرِّجَالِ, and actually the overpowering of people. This is a very powerful dua, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from all these things that will inhibit us from fulfilling our maximum potential, actually. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us productive individuals, productive human beings, productive Muslims, productive, that when we stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we see all the rewards for what we've done. Productive in this world and productive in the akhirah. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.